Hello, everyone. So for my ESL classroom observation, I did my observation in one of our ESL teachers' classrooms. Her name is Miss Lori Kashak. She has been teaching with our school district for 10 years. She has her master's in TESOLs. The class I observed had 25 students. All of the students there spoke Spanish. They were all an ESL level 2. While observing there, they were working on a unit 3 called Global Village. To begin the unit, the students learned vocabulary. They were given the definition of with basic English, a picture to help them learn it. She also provided some of the words in Spanish, so they got a better picture of it. Also I observed her reading some short stories and poems within the unit. They read If the World Were a Village, the same, which is a short poem, and some freaky foods. As they read through them, they had discussions. They talked about other stuff. They talked about how it related to their personal lives. I also observed how she taught a lesson on adjectives, what they were, how they describe nouns. We also talked about prefixes and how they change the meaning of words. As far as how did it change my perspective on teaching English language learners, I don't know if it really changed my perspective. I currently teach a lot of ESL students in a lot of my classes now, so I would say I was enlightened more. I didn't realize that in an ESL classroom setting, they didn't receive as many accommodations. I thought it was more like the accommodations we provide them in a regular classroom. I also realized that they use a lot of the same strategies that we use. I didn't realize that. I was also surprised how engaged the students were in the material. A lot of my ESL students seem a little distant in some of my classes. I try to engage them. They're kind of cautious about volunteering for stuff. However, when I was observing, I seen how eager a lot of them were to read and participate in discussions and everything along those lines. Some of the strategies and techniques that I observed was they use scaffolding. She provides reading materials on the students' reading level. So the textbook that they use is for grades 1st through 3rd. That's the reading level. It's also for beginning level ESL proficiency. The vocab, like I said, they provide pictures and related to a real life experience for the students so they can relate to it. She also does repeat readings, so she'll reread stuff with the kids. She'll read, the students will read, they take turns. Again, they read aloud. The teacher reads as well. She provides study guides for the students that reviews the material. They have lots of discussions. The students, I can tell, love the discussions about the material. They love to relate it back to them. For instance, in the lesson, in one of the stories we talked about was freaky foods. The students love to discuss the different types of freaky foods that they eat. Sorry about that. So they provide study guides she provides study guides for students. They review key vocabulary, key details of the story that was covered. She also does lots of checking for understanding as the students read, so she'll ask students questions that they should have picked up in the details of the story. She relates new vocabulary words to a Spanish word, so the students get a better picture of what it looks like. She uses graphic organizers to help the students organize their thoughts when writing answers to questions, also for organizing details of the story, organizing and comparing and contrasting new vocabulary words. She uses lots of collaboration with the kids, either amongst herself or she pairs them into small groups. The materials that she uses in the classroom, one is an EDGE textbook. Again, that book was published in 2009. It is, again, for reading levels 1 through 3 and for ESL students that are on a beginning level. Inside there, you will see different short stories, poems that have different topics in the unit. Each unit is broken down into smaller clusters. There's also a grammar piece that goes along with the textbook that will help students develop basic grammar skills based on the reading levels. So like I said, we covered prefixes and we also covered adjectives. Also, they use Read 180. She didn't use it while I was observing, but another big key that they use is Read 180. It helps students begin to develop their reading skills. What's nice about Read 180 is you're able to adjust based on the student's reading abilities. It's not a one-size-fits-all. Also with Read 180, it's not just on the computer. They do other stuff that's inside the classroom of reading different stories, discussion. They start to develop those comprehension skills that they should be preparing for when they enter an actual regular literature course that we do offer here at the high school once they exit the ESL program. I really enjoyed being in the ESL class. One reason is because a lot of those students in the classroom are students I either currently teach or previously teach. So I already kind of have a good rapport with them. They also enjoyed seeing me in the classroom. For instance, there's one student in there. He's great with math. However, while being in there, I learned he actually cannot read. So it was a nice new thing I learned about the student that I can actually provide additional support for him to maybe build those skills in my class. I can provide more text for him to practice reading and writing so we can build that English skill for him. So like I said, I enjoy